All right. Good morning, bows and bow ties. It's Black opinionated woman, also known as a bow. It has been a while. I know the lighting isn't great in here right now because I'm in my Bronco, so I don't have overhead lighting. And I was gonna use the other car, but the phone mount thing was not phone mounting correctly. And yeah, so I don't really have a whole lot to talk about, but I just wanted to get on here for a brief moment and just kind of just sync with everybody. So you got to apologize. I got this weird little haircut going on right now because all the color is coming out of my hair, and I got on a sundress and there's no sun. Not sure why I chose to wear this morning, so I'll be wearing my jacket all day. All right, let's see. One, you haven't heard from me in a while, simply because I have been quite tired. My family is wearing me out. Like, between keeping up with all their school and their sports and trying to take time off and decompress, I literally just stopped recording videos for a while. And it was really just for me. Um, I don't really have a whole lot of exciting things to say, so I'm just gonna go off the cuff. Ooh, it's cold up in here. No, no. I'm gonna go off the cuff. I'm sorry it's so loud. This is a very loud car, but I'm gonna just go off the cuff and just talk about some of the things that I've been thinking about. Let's talk about number one. I am getting my hee-haws at watching all of the, I would say, sports media. The sports media does more fighting and competing with each other and the athletes than I've seen. And I just find it so interesting because you'll hear men talk about how women are quite emotional and all these things. But most of the people out here on social media and the television, these are all men. I think even the data shows it's men. And they talk about women, I shouldn't say they talk about women, but in the past, I would hear men talk about how women are so emotional. I'm like, men are some of the most emotional beings out here. So, for example, just watching like Stephen A. Smith go at it with these athletes, you've got different sports talking uh, commentators or whatever. I won't even say sports, like maybe podcasters going at each other between Stephen A. Smith and Jason Whitlock and Emmanuel Acho and his crazy self going after each other, Cam Newton, all that. So over the last couple of months or whatever, I have been getting my hee-haws at watching this ridiculous display of masculinity and manhood. I am entertained, let's be clear. I am entertained at the commentary. Like, for example, Stephen A. Smith and Jalen Brown going at it. I'm like, I don't even understand this one. But it is entertaining. And all of these people wanting to fuss with Stephen A. Smith, and we know Stephen A. Smith is on one. Or what did he call him? Stephen A. Stephen A. Stephen B. Stephen C. But we know he's on one. We know right now he's really becoming more of the court jester, the entertainer. He's his own act, right? So I think he wants to dabble in politics. I think he wants to be a comedian. I don't know where I'm going with it. And no, I don't really think he wants to be a comedian, but he is engaging in these petty verbal squabbles, right? And what that's doing is driving up engagement. It is entertaining. But anyway, so I'm watching all of these grown men, these athletes and these sports or these media personalities, Nick Wright, all of these men, they are all just thirsty for attention. They are. I've not seen more men get into it. Everybody is fussing at them for their takes. Do I think they all have bad takes? Yes. But they all spend more time trying to shade each other. They talk about the Housewives show. This is the most compelling, maybe not compelling, this is the most entertaining reality. landscape, I would say. It's one big sub show of a big show. So me sitting there watching uh, Emmanuel Acho, who, he'll try to sit there and convince you that he's the smartest man in the world. He wants to tell you what all his accolades are. He's like, he's suspect himself, but his show in itself is entertaining, right? He will convince you that he's the smartest man in the world if you're not a learned or astute person. And because he has such low self-esteem, he'll tell you that it's high, or he'll pretend like it's high. But where I'm going with it is like he's got to let you know, like I've had this, that, and the other with Oprah, and I read books, and I'm like, dude, you're not the only one who reads books. Um, I just find it entertaining. I think Emmanuel thinks he's like super black or something, and that he is like the one who speaks for all things black. I'm like, dude, you have a completely different experience. You're Nigerian, but he is he's sitting here like siphoning off the culture. Now, I don't dislike Emmanuel. He's just trying to make his money, but I see what he's doing. For he keeps coming for Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco and the other guy that comes on there. And I get it. He is hustling his way to try to take that time slot. And this is the thing. He takes shots at nightcaps so hard all the time. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I don't even know why you feel like you have to take a shot at them. You're doing fine on your own. You have the right chemistry and personnel, and they're funny. Do I subscribe to much of what Emmanuel says? No. Any learned person can actually distinguish, or let me rephrase, they can actually discern what's happening, right? At the end of the day, he has to drive up ratings. He has these crazy takes on things, but they're entertaining. They're entertaining. So he's doing his job. He's taking shots at people. He's trying to convince the audience that he's like super smart. And I'm like, okay, dude. Like, so he's gonna do that. He's gonna like try to run off his accolades and like I'm this, I'm that, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't know if he's in a relationship, but he's the kind of person that I would be weary of. Because I'm like, I'm not doing this. You're not gonna sit here and but he does have that sauce. He put together the secret sauce to make the show entertaining. You got Cam Newton bringing on Jason Whitlock a couple months ago, letting him just talk all crazy about Stephen A. Smith, and I get it. He has a platform that he's trying to grow, but I'm just cracking up. He's so Jason Whitlock, sorry, something popped in on my screen. Jason Whitlock was coming for Stephen A. Smith. You've got Nick Wright calling people clowns. I'm just entertained. Anyway, what I want to say is I've watched a whole bunch of grown men go at each other over the last few months. Well, this has been going on longer than a few months, but since I've been gone. And at the end of the day, I keep trying to tell everyone that, I talk to, I'm like, men are quite emotional. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, you think that anger and jealousy, those are emotions. They are emotions. So just because they're not, on screen crying per se, but they are still yelling, they're displaying anger. They're like literally attacking each other on television. So anyway, men are emotional. I'm here for all the entertainment and the shenanigans. Um, what else? There was the whole Cheyenne Bryant. She's the relationship, I guess we call it guru. I guess there's some. I guess there's the controversy surrounding whether or not she completed her dissertation. Um, I don't even know what it's supposed to be on. I don't really listen to her a whole lot. I've seen clips of her, and she has some good points. I'm just I just find her entertaining because she's got a job to do. She's got to get your attention, right? She's got to put her boobs out there. Remember how like Joyce Smith was on TV and she always had a rack out there? I ain't mad at it. Get your money. She's got a rack out there. So anyway, so Cheyenne Bryant, she's out there. Um, this is Cheyenne Bryant, right? What is that? That's her name. And she's beautiful. She is smart, but no one can find her degree. I don't know if it was an online dissertation. I don't know, from Argosy University, Argosy University. Apparently, it is no longer in existence. Long story short, I'm entertained by that whole controversy. At the end of the day, I think she's giving out advice on relationships, love, like all the things. And I think where she needs to go is say, I think she did come out and say, look, I don't need my degree to give you this kind of, like, I don't need that dissertation to give out advice or something to that effect. I guess her master's degree suffices. I guess where I'm going with it is, if you can't prove well, I don't know. If she actually got her PhD, she's allowed to call herself Dr. Bryant. If she hasn't, I don't know why you would get out there and do that. I don't know. I just find it all entertaining that people are all up in arms. Some of the memes are hilarious. I mean, she put herself in that position too. She put herself in that position to be mocked and memed. Nevertheless, I think the main thing is, if she did not complete her dissertation for her doctorate, then she shouldn't be claiming titles that she didn't earn. However, the stuff that she's doing, I guess trying to talk about relationship and healing, like just things in life or whatever, I believe she is qualified to do that. She could just say she's a relationship guru. And that's fine, because it's not like she doesn't give out good advice. But I find all this to be entertaining, because now people are going on an expedition to try to take this woman down. I'm like, oh, this is wild. I'm like, at the end of the day, catch the message. And no, she shouldn't be claiming titles that she didn't earn. If that's true. So those are my thoughts on the Cheyenne Bryant thing. But I also don't listen to her a whole lot. I mean, I just, I'm not her audience, right? Her audience is really high profile men and athletes getting it together, Cam Newtons and stuff like that, going on like Club Shay Shay, or no, what was it? Was she on Nightcap? I think she was on Nightcap. I can't know. Club Shay Shay? I don't know. I can't remember. Her audience is really for high profile men. That's really her audience. They are the ones who seem to know the most about her. And I get it. For one, she's beautiful. So she's great to look at, right? So I get it. Uh, that's her demographic. Like, I'm not her demographic. I don't want to talk about manhood or childhood trauma. I don't know. Like, so that's why it's not really holding any major interest for me. Um, I I don't know. I don't want to see her boobs. I mean, if you put them out there, I'm like, oh, they're pretty. They're there. Doesn't bother me, but I can see why men like find her like interesting. Because she's trying to reach them on an emotional level, and she's good to look at. She's entertaining. She's a smart lady, but I am not her target demographic. Let's be clear. Um, what else? Let's see. Sports or sportsing. Um, what else is going on? Okay, so let me tell you something. This is where you guys are going to click off. I have been fascinated about this whole going to the moon thing. And let me tell you the reason why. Because like back in the day, people used to always try to question if people had gone to the moon, having been to space, all these other things. And you look at pictures of the moon and it always looks fake. But what people don't realize is that the moon has no atmosphere. And I want you guys to check this out. This is why people come up with all these conspiracy theories. There's no atmosphere on the moon. And so when you don't have atmosphere, you don't have anything to give you all the shading and the depth perception. And what people aren't realizing is that when people went to the moon way, way, way back in the day, did you guys know that they were really seeing in 2D? Look it up. There's no atmosphere on the moon. And when you look up all the things surrounding why the moon looks that way, why it looks so fake, it looks like a sticker. When you don't have atmosphere, everything becomes crisp. You lose depth perceptions. So those astronauts way back in the day, what made them so super dope, it was they, when you get off the ship, there's so much to learn about this moon thing. When you get off that ship and you're on the moon, in your space suit, do you know how scary and eerie it is to look out into that black void? And I can't give this enough justice. What they were experiencing and what they were seeing is they were seeing basically in 2D because there's no atmosphere. So imagine almost having a series of jump scares coming at you because the way our eyes work. I wish I could spend more time on this. And I know a lot of you are probably like, what is she talking about? This is one of those lesser known facts. When you get off of your spaceship on the moon where there is no atmosphere, you can't trust your eyes. There's a reason why you see videos of these astronauts doing that little bunny hop. They can't just do normal walking stuff. They can't trust depth perception of those little craters. So, and for those of you who are scientific and mathematical, you know what I'm talking about. So you could be falling into a ditch. When you're looking in 2D, things all look the same. It looks very flat. So when you look at real photos of the moon, it looks fake. It looks like a cartoon. It's like a sticker. It's because there's no atmosphere. I need to have another video on this. A lot of people are not understanding just how crazy this is. And when you listen to some of the astronaut commentary from previous missions up through the current Artemis 2, and they were saying we are not evolved enough to understand what is happening and to see what's happening. But I want to make it clear to everybody, if you were on the moon and you're walking around, there's a reason why that rover goes only 6 to 8 miles per hour. Because you can't trust your eyes. It's almost like a series of jump scares. You're looking at something that you think is right in front of you, and it may or may not be. There is a depth perception problem on the moon because there's no atmosphere. That's the kind of stuff that when you research what's happening with those astronauts that they were talking about. Anyway, all right. Maybe I'll do another video on that some other time because most of the people who probably listen to my channel, they're not gonna really catch what I just said. That's not something that they're interested in, and I need to go talk to some nerdy people. But I find it completely fascinating and understanding what happens and how you move and depth perception, what's happening to your body. Um, all right. I'm getting close to where I need to be to get off on the exit, and I just wanted to come out here and just see how everyone's doing. I have not died. I just to recap, I talked about the emotional men out here commentating on sports and fighting with each other. I am thoroughly entertained. We talked about Cheyenne Bryant, and we talked about the moon. Um, I'm sure you guys probably know. I was such a big Star Trek, the Next Generation fan, in some of the old Star Trek. But anyway, I'm into all that kind of stuff. All right. I probably should start making videos again, but I haven't had a whole lot to say, and it has been kind of nice taking a break from a lot of different things. All right, I am going to end this video. Put on my jacket since I chose to wear a sundress when there's no sun. And it's kind of rainy out here in these streets, and or it's misting or whatever. And that's pretty much it. All right, until next time. Subscribe to my channel.